It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From big TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, kind people, what is up? It's your man Lee Sanders with you all for this Saturday night of September 27th, 2025. We're minutes removed from a all-new WWE NXT No Mercy event from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Hey, what did you guys think about the event? If you guys had checked it out, we have a poll that's up. I did not get a chance to put it up on YouTube. Honestly, we're good on the YouTube. No disrespect to our YouTube community, but I know because over the years there's been some cases where our YouTube subscribers they care about NXT, and then there's other times where they're just ice cold about all the happenings on NXT. So, on that note, if you got your Twitter, get your Twitter on. We got the poll up over there on Twitter at the RCWR Show. Feel free to sound off. Let your voices be heard. You can also pop in the chat and offer some comments if you saw the event. Let me and everybody else know what you thought about tonight's NXT event. Nice to be with you guys on this Saturday night. I will admit to you guys, no promoting whatsoever was done for this. Right down to the point, I totally blanked out on the fact that NXT was doing something this weekend. I did not know. That lets you know how busy I have been with classes. So, which everything is going pretty good. I know Tams wanted to sit down and do an episode of Wrestling with the Topics, but this weekend for both of us, I know she just wants to really kick back and chill. I want to catch up on some studying and knock out a couple of projects. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. That's my way of saying if y'all were expecting Wrestling with the Topics dropping, not this weekend, but we'll definitely be back with you all next weekend. So this is a nice little impromptu episode that you guys are getting. Nice little bonus episode that you all are getting. Look, I gotta say, this was a pretty fun edition of NXT. I will definitely give it up. I love this event. I mean, we got ourselves a new NXT World Heavyweight Champion in Ricky Saints, aka Ricky Starks. I mean, hell, let's talk about that. How about that? I gotta say, look, it definitely doesn't hurt when you have a friend in Cody Rhodes, because you would just like to believe that without Cody Rhodes, they're definitely, and CM Punk for that matter, because let's not also forget CM Punk, when he was involved with AEW, he went to bat for Ricky and said he wanted to do some stuff with him and everything. So just imagine if you didn't have those two individuals at play, there probably would not be a Ricky Saint / Ricky Starks in WWE right now. I mean, I think it's safe to say that definitely would have been the case, yeah. But when you really take a step back and you think about it, yep, we got audio. I'm just making sure that we got audio here. But when you really stop and think about it, it just wouldn't have been possible and all that. But I'm looking at Ricky Saints and I'm going, go ahead, young man, because here this guy is. And you think about all the people that have come over to WWE over the years that have defected from AEW. We see what's been going on with Lexis King, otherwise known as Brian Pillman Jr. You also look at the chairman, Sean Spears. You also look at Ricky Saints. You definitely got to, put him on that list as well. Jade Cargill. There's just, we'd be here just all night just going through the names, but you just look at them. But particularly when you home in on the fact that a lot of these, Blake Monroe, when you just look at all of these individuals that have defected from AEW to WWE, in some cases of the talents coming back to WWE, the grass has been more greener for them on the WWE side. Okay. And definitely, it seems that has been the case for Ricky Saints, as again, he is our new NXT World Heavyweight Champion, defeating Oba Femi in the main event. Remember, Oba Femi got that championship back in January, I believe it was, and the man has just been on a non-stop, unstoppable title defense after title defense. It was one of those deals where you're going, can anybody like stop this guy? I mean, we just, not for nothing, we also recently saw him clash with Moose. Remember that? Yeah, that went down a couple of months ago. Oh, that was a great matchup in itself too, and all that. So and I gotta admit, I liked how this match had played itself out. Was this a case where you were kind of looking at this match? Could you say this match went along the lines of a David versus Goliath? Yeah, to a certain degree, it was David versus Goliath, but I looked at it more so from a speed versus powerhouse match. That's honestly how I looked at it. And I loved how this match was laid out. Early on, we saw the physical dominance that was coming in there by Oba, but then Ricky, when he had the opportunity, turned it around, used his speed to his advantage. I really like the way this match was laid out by all involved from the booking side, especially when the action had spilled over outside the ring, where Ricky Saints, to pretty much put a pretty little ribbon on how he ultimately got the championship, he was fighting Oba over on top of the announcer's table. They were dueling it out. Ricky hit a DDT that sent Oba head first through the announcer's table. So there's your first DDT right there. And then Ricky follows up just about, man, maybe even, was it even 3 minutes is the question. I feels like maybe it might have been. It could have been less than that. But Ricky follows up with another DDT. This one outside the ring, just right across from the collapsed announcer's table, where head first Oba goes to the floor because of that DDT. Action spills right back into the ring, where Oba rebounds a little bit, as it kind of seemed as though Ricky was maybe looking for another DDT, but Oba pretty much countered that one, hit a power bomb. Then it seemed as though he was trying to go for maybe another one. Ricky out of nowhere coming in with a third DDT. And then what really was the final nail in the coffin, Ricky spinning off of the ropes, if you will, using the ropes as his momentum to do a swinging DDT. 1, 2, 3. Ricky becoming your new NXT World Heavyweight Champion. Amazing, just amazing. I love the title defense on so many levels. I gotta admit to you though, I did not see this coming. I really did not. I was strongly under the impression that, well, there's going to be another title defense for Obi, a successful one at that. Nothing really to see here. It'll be a fun match, but there's really nothing to like. It's all good. So the fact that they went in this direction, I gotta say, not only a pleasant surprise, a welcome surprise, and then it also, to a certain degree, gives you a little bit of a reset for NXT, especially with the TNA invasion. That if you did not watch this past Tuesday's NXT, whoo, that was definitely a pretty damn good episode. We'll talk a little bit more about it, setting up some really great things to come in the coming weeks. Obafemi, as far as what is potentially next for him, honestly, I would not be surprised if maybe a main roster promotion is within his grasp. I would not be surprised if maybe something like that goes down. If it were to go down, I would imagine that potentially it'll happen right after this TNA NXT invasion. Although creatively, they could go in a direction where Oba goes, you know what? I have fought so many battles as the NXT World Heavyweight Champion, taking all challengers and newcomers left and right. I know we got this battle right now with NXT and TNA, but from where I am right now, I am just mentally, spiritually exhausted. I just got to sit this one out. I don't know exactly what the future holds for me. I don't know where my place should be. I think I just need to go away for a little while. And if maybe that's WWE's way of writing Obafemi off of TV, only to have him resurface a couple of months later, 2 months at best, on the main roster, like you could definitely go in that direction. But I definitely feel the big man much sooner rather than later. He should be getting that call up to the main roster and honestly put the big man on SmackDown. It's pretty crowded as it is right now over on Monday Night Raw. I think he would be much better off over on the SmackDown side of things. But I love the storytelling that went down in this main event match for Ricky Starks to overcome the adversity, to prove that not only could he hang with Obafemi, but essentially get the job done. Some may look at the spamming of the DDT a bit much, but no, I say if it makes sense in the way this match was laid out, okay, you pretty much are hurting the big man where it hurts most. You're giving him that head trauma, and you're finding that, wait a minute, this seems to be working. Well, you know what? If I do this just enough, then maybe I'll have what it takes to just 3 seconds is all I need. And so I didn't feel it was spammed out too much for what it was worth. But yeah, sound off. Let me know if you guys are under the impression that Obafemi might be making his way to the main roster, or if you're seeing something different. Do you like the idea of him maybe sitting out on this NXT WW this NXT TNA invasion, whatnot, or if you think he's actually essential for this? Sound off. Let me know what you guys think. So that match, by the way, went for your main event. We had 6 matches on the card for tonight too. 17 minutes and 20 seconds was that matchup. Let's talk about the first match that we had got for the evening. Javon Evans picking up a victory over Josh Briggs. This was Briggs' first premium event match as a solo act. And the big man did pretty good. Javon Evans defeating Josh Briggs one-on-one, 16 minutes, 28 seconds. Javad Evans, 21, 22 years of age. When I look at this young man, I've sung his praises. I really don't get a chance to sing his praises enough, but I sincerely mean this when I say the young man has a very bright career ahead of him. He is definitely going to be, he plays his cards right, stays out of trouble and all that. He will definitely be a household name amongst wrestling fans, definitely in the wrestling industry. He'll be an impact player for many years to come. I personally feel. When I look at Javon, he reminds me so much of a young, and I hate doing these comparisons. I really, really do. But I only like doing these comparisons when I legit in my heart of heart feel, nah, with everything that I'm looking at here, he really does, or this individual really does come off like this person that I grew up watching. When I look at Javon Evans, he reminds me so much of a young Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels. You know, he's a very nice hybrid of the two. Definitely leaning more on the Shawn Michaels side as far as the athleticism goes and all that. But yeah, I'm looking at him and I'm just always amazed at what this young man can do and everything. Great match against Josh Briggs. Now, some people may be a little bit on the fence with this one. And I would imagine the thought process, fans' feelings about Javon winning this is probably going to be mixed, right? Because let's not forget, Javon is going to be challenging. Oh, I'm trying to remember who he's challenging at Bound for Glory, but he's challenging somebody for their title at Bound for Glory. So when you look at that matchup, I'll get the information for you in just a second. But when you look at the fact that Bound for Glory is going to be coming up on October 12th, so you're going, okay, almost 3 weeks away. All right, so we kind of got to build up Javon Evans taking on this champion and everything. I'm looking at it right now. It's going to be Leon Slater that Javon Evans will be facing, singles match for the X Division Championship. Now, some people could look at this and say, well, I'm all down for Javon building up some momentum going into Bound for Glory. But man, did it really have to come at the expense of Josh Briggs? Because it seems that WWE has spent so much time trying to repackage Josh Briggs and everything, and only to serve this guy up on a silver platter and essentially feed him to Javon Evans. How does that really help Josh Briggs when Javon could have taken the loss and just easily got his comeuppings on the next batch of week episodes of NXT? To that, I say, yo, both sides definitely very valid. It's definitely very valid. Where I stand with this, honestly, if you were gonna have Javon win, I really think you should have had Javon win just by a hair. Like it should have been a case of pure luck. I wasn't the fact, and what rubbed me the wrong way was the fact that the hellacious beating that Josh Briggs was giving Javon all throughout the match. And Briggs was putting in some really, really, ooh, he was putting a hurting on Javon. I remember at one point, Briggs stood him up. He picked him up from the canvas. He stood him up. And then while Javon was just kind of just there, dazed and everything, just kind of spinning a little bit. Boy, I tell you what, Josh just did that head of Javon's. He kind of just held it a little bit. Then he let it go, and then he just winded up that damn fist, went in for a clothesline to the back of the head. That was a devastating, ugly ass move. I love that. There was also a really sweet ass move where there was a clothesline off the ropes, and I was just kind of having little mini flashes of JBL there for a hot minute. Briggs did good. Briggs looked really, really good in this one-on-one joint. Evans bumped his ass off like a mofo for Briggs. But Evans turned it around. Like I said, I think if they would have gone in a direction where Evans won by maybe a schoolboy roll up pin, something along those lines, just barely escaping, I think that would have sufficed. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Javon and this whole TNA NXT angle because I don't know. There's part of me that just kind of goes, you know what? Not for nothing, but if you really wanted to build up some serious momentum and everything, I just personally feel Briggs should have gotten the W, and then Evans would have just been really, really fine if you somehow would have made him be the MVP of Team NXT versus NXT. You feel me? But we'll see how this plays off. But the big guy, I felt did really good. Some nice bigger stuff going on in here. Yeah, a couple of things just rubbed me the wrong way about that matchup, though. Just the hellacious beating that Javon Evans, and I get the way that they're booking Javon. Don't get me wrong. Hey, this guy can take an ass whooping and he just keeps coming back. He comes back stronger. He's that underdog. You just want to root for this guy. And I like that and everything. But man, just when you go back and you look at this match and you see everything that Briggs was laying out, that you'll understand why I'm saying, nah, man, like there's just no way in hell that the way this match should have ended, the rope cutter from Evans just taken out, because Evans really did not get to do really that much damage. It's kind of interesting because when you look at how this match was set up, essentially a small guy taking on a bigger guy, and then you look at the main event match between Femi and Ricky Saints, you can't help but wonder, like, it would surprise me if it was a case where, wait a minute, these two matches were booked by the same person or a group of people, because one match, the main event match, has some really good logic in it, even though some of the stuff that happened was a bit spammed out. But then the other match, you're going, well, good match, but these areas right here doesn't quite make that much sense. So just food for thought on that one. Next up, we get the women's speed title match as Ruca was defending the championship. Now, we had heard earlier in the day by Shawn Michaels that apparently, sadly, the beautiful and the lovely, oh God, what's her name? I just had her name. The girl that won the tournament to be able to go on to face Ruca for the championship. Bear with me a second here. I'll be able to pull this up. But in her place, it was actually Jada Parker. Love me some Jada Parker, man. Jada Parker, that's my girl. You can't go wrong with Jada Parker, man. Yeah, I am thinking of Lainey Reid. That's who it was. Lainey Reid had entered 2 rounds, where in the first round she defeated Fabi Apache. That was on the September 2nd through 9th week of NXT. Then she advanced to the second round, did Lainey Reid. Eventually, she took on Candice LeRae. That was the finals in the September 23rd edition of NXT. So Lainey Reid had won the right to face Ruca for the Speed Championship at NXT No Mercy tonight. However, during the days, week or two leading up to it, Lainey Reid got injured. Now, some people were under the impression maybe this was a ruse and maybe Rainey was going to come out and do some weird shit. No, she actually got interviewed by Kelly Kincaid, and we see that Rainey's left leg is in a boot, and she sadly was not going to be able to wrestle. But you still kind of had in the back of your mind, maybe something is, and you all might be on to something, but the logic of it really wouldn't make any sense, not unless some type of a partnership was formed. Let me explain a little further. So Lola Vice, not to be jumping too out of order here, but leading up to this speed match by Ruca, Lainey Reid was being interviewed by Kelly and was saying, yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm not going to be able to do this match for the speed championship because we know, if it wasn't for my injury, I definitely would be going in there. I'd be the champion, da 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 da. Lola Vice comes in, hey, sorry to hear what happened, pulling for you. And Lainey comes right back, and she's got some sass talk for Lola Vice, pretty much telling her stay out of her face, mind her own business, all this other crap. And Lola says to her, well, you better mind your manners, otherwise I'll do some more serious damage to that leg of yours than what's already done. Really put a number on you and all that. So kind of have that in the back of your head, because I think we might be on to something a little bit when it comes to Lola Vice and her opportunity for the NXT Women's Championship. Meanwhile, Ruca taking on Jada Parker Speed Championship. Gotta tell you, this was my first time ever watching a speed match, a WWE speed match. I've heard about the stuff on social media, never gave it the time nor day because I just, there's only but so much wrestling that I can essentially consume and all that. But I got to tell you, from a technical aspect, one thing that was really, really annoying for me, and this is definitely within my wheelhouse since I have a degree in media production and all that, I'm paying attention to the lighting during this match, and I'm going, why is the light green? What's going on here? What's with the green effect? And in my head, I'm just going, the green, like, no, the fans can't really see what the hell is going on here. Now, I did notice that when the action was inside the ring, pretty much dead center, the lights were adjusted accordingly, which, okay, that's great. But it seemed that when your talents moved from under that main spotlight and they were taking the action into one of the corners, particularly the corners over by the announcers tables, and then they were going outside the ring over to that side. Everything was this dark green color. The only thing that made sense to me as I'm seeing all of this playing out, I'm going, why is the lights green? I'm going, okay, maybe they're just trying to stress the fact that, hey, this is a speed match you're watching. And I'm also saying in my head, maybe they're going to change the colors at one point to represent each minute. And then sure enough, the light changes to a warm sunburst tone type of color, which I thought was a little bit better. A little bit better. And then we hit the red light district apparently in the final minute. And I'm just going, okay, I kind of get what we're doing here with the lighting changes and all that. I just feel that it's a bit too excessive. You almost kind of feel as though, like, if I could tweak things a little bit, honestly, if I could tweak things a little bit with that, if it was insisted that the lights be kept, then the one change that I would maybe make is have the announcer just grab a microphone and say 3 minutes, three. Because like when you watch some of those NBA games, for example, and we're getting down to the final 2 minutes of the quarter, you usually have somebody on the PA system, 2 minutes, dose. Right. So I wouldn't mind it if maybe we kind of had that to go hand in hand with the lights changing. That way folks can kind of understand what exactly is going on. Because I can imagine, and I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I was doing something on my tablet when the introductions and all that was underway. And then when I looked up, I'm going, oh shit, is something wrong with my TV? Why are they green? What's going on here? And then like the more and more I'm looking, and right before I could get ready to take the remote and I'm messing around with contrast and all those settings, then I see, oh, okay, it's not my TV. It's so if maybe they can kind of do that little bit of a light adjustment, I think they would be fine. Otherwise, if I could have it my way, I would just say, just don't do the light show. Now, some people may disagree with that. Some people may say, no, it's actually pretty good. Hey, it's all good. Anyway, towards the end of the match, Lash Legend made her presence felt. Lash Legend getting in the face there of Jada Parker. Jada wanted to know what the hell she was doing there. Next thing you know, Lash was getting ready to go for an attack when Jada moved out the way. Zarya was trying to attack Jada from behind. All this was set up while referee was somehow distracted. Zarya tried basically spearing the hell out of Jada from behind. That would have been a sweet ass spear too if it would have connected. But with Jada moving out of the way, Zarya unintentionally speared Lash Legend. Jada getting back in the ring where Ruca caught her with the Soul Catcher to retain her Speed Championship. Later on in the night, Lash Legend would return to talk hot trash on TNA, following up on what happened from Tuesday and the announcement that was made by Ava, which we'll talk about in just a hot little bit. Jada coming right back out there. Them two women picking up right where they left off from earlier. Setting up a pretty good edition of NXT this Tuesday night. Give you the details on that in a hot little bit. We were just talking about Ava. Ava appeared making a announcement that apparently there will be a edition of NXT Invasion happening on October 7th on the CW. We are going to be seeing a men's Survivor Series style match and a women's Survivor Series style match, right? So elimination teams basically. And this coming Tuesday on NXT, Ava and TNA Santino Marella, they will reveal their respective teams that's going to be going into those Survivor Series matches, it looks like. Also, Dark State versus the Hardys, tag titles for tag titles, winner take all. And to ensure that a winner does come out of it, no interference is allowed whatsoever. So that's going to be pretty damn good matchup that's going to happen. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Dark State versus the Hardys, I believe that is supposed to be happening on the Invasion episode of NXT. So circle that on your calendars. But I know as far as this coming Tuesday's NXT, boy, that's really loaded up, especially on the TNA side of things. I'll tease you with that. We'll come back more on that and this week's CW's NXT in a hot little bit. Meanwhile, third matchup for the evening, it was a weaponized steel cage match. Blake Monroe taking on Jordynne Grace. I gotta admit to you guys, soon as I saw Jordynne Grace come out in her all white outfit, I said, yo, somebody's gonna be bleeding real good in this matchup. Like, seriously. Man, was I disappointed. It was a good match, don't get me wrong. It was a great match. Not enough blood. I wanted more blood in that damn thing, but it's all good. We can't always get what we want. 16 minutes, 12 seconds. Jordynne Grace picking up the win here over Blake Monroe. I'm just trying to gauge my feelings on this matchup. First of all, nice that I will admit, normally when I see a steel cage match, once in a blue moon, you'll get a weapon that'll get tossed into the steel cage, or maybe a manager, valet, somebody will toss a weapon in the steel cage, and okay, that's how that weapon, or maybe the wrestler themselves, they'll somehow get out of the steel cage, they'll go under the ring, and they'll pull something out and they'll bring it. So to kind of just go, nah, we're going to make sure that all the weapons are inside this steel cage so you can do what you need to do. Well, it was kind of cool how they had a steel chair that pretty much was somehow, I'm not going to say taped up because it wasn't taped, but they had a steel chair that pretty much was right there on one side of the steel cage structure. Then you had a table that was propped up. I mean, it was kind of cool how they had it all laid out and everything. So you're really looking at this steel cage, this weaponized steel cage match, and you're going, all right, like this is all about hatred. This is all about violence, and this is all about. But at the same time, where it was a little bit buzzkill for me was the fact that, look, mommy, it's pink. They gave us a pink trash can, and I'm just looking at that. I'm going, that in itself right there, that just was one of many factors that was buzzkill for me. right? Because if you tell me that this is a weaponized steel cage match, and you're giving me two women that just hate the living shit and they just want to beat the living shit out of each other, okay? Then, okay, these women, they're not showing up to be wrestling. They're not showing up to be trading holds. They're looking to fight. They want to seriously do some bodily harm to one another. And I just feel as though the way this match was designed, it didn't quite live up to that. Now, they did do some stuff where, okay, this person got hit with a steel chair. Okay, this person got back slammed onto some pretend diamonds. You know, as at one point fans were chanting ECW and all of that, right? I remember Jordynne Grace taking a hair dryer and going to the back of the spine of Blake Monroe. Like that was, but I mean beyond that, it just it's kind of comical to a certain degree. It was kind of comical. It was a decent match, but had so much potential to be more. You feel me? Like the most passionate, heated thing that really happened out of this whole match was the fact that Blake Monroe at one point she took a pair of scissors and she started cutting the hair of Jordynne Grace. Now, as you see the hair that's being cut, and look, if you're fortunate enough and you're with somebody that they do a lot with their hair, you've seen them over the years, and you know that they've done their fair share of putting weave in their hair. You know weave when you spot it, and so I'm looking at the hair that's being cut, and I don't know about you all, but I'm having a hearty laugh, going, "Oh, that's weave." Ah, that's nothing. That's just weave, right? And I'm going, if we really want to make this count, like really, really, really cut some hair, huh? And I thought Blake Monroe was really going to be going to town there. Foolish me, foolish heart, foolish heart, foolish heart. I'm not going to sing that, no. But that was like the most passionate, kind of okay. But beyond that, I mean, that pretty much was it. Cool little spot to end the match though, where Grace ended up blocking a power bomb as both women were on top of the steel cage. They were going back and forth. Grace was trying for something. She had some weird foreign object in her hand, but then Monroe pulled out a bag of powder and managed to throw it into the eyes of Jordynne Grace. Monroe then tried to set herself up with the table already erect, ready to go. Tried to power bomb Jordynne Grace through that table, but Jordynne managed to continue to fight it off, block it off. Instead, managed to switch, counter into a air raid crash, sending Monroe through the table, picking up the win. 16 minutes and change. Happy that Grace got the win, but this match particularly had so much potential to be. Don't get me wrong, it was good. It was good. When I say it was good, like grade letter, A to F, I'm going C for what it was worth. It was good, but it had a lot of potential to be better, and it should have been better. All right, so we got that North American Championship. Tavion Heights taking on the champion Ethan Page. Ethan Page successfully retaining 10 minutes and 20 seconds. This one ended up being a bit more than I was expecting, honestly. I'm not saying I thought this was going to be a squash match. I did not anticipate that at all. I love the way Tavion Heights, not only how he was booked in this match, but he's coming along. His progression is coming along since I last saw him some months back. He's definitely made leaps and bounds of improvement. Definitely from a personality standpoint, much more commanding personality wise in the ring. I'll definitely give him that. And he just seems to be adapting much more to that whole transitioning from Olympic style wrestling to television wrestling. I think he's doing pretty damn good. Paige continues to just and another one and I mean he is just dialing up the hits. I gotta say, Paige really brought out the best in Heights. I think to date this was one of Tavon Heights' best singles outings. I dare say. I dare say. Um, Good. Very good. This second reign of him as champion is going honestly better than the first reign. I got to say, solid matchup. Nice rebound from the previous match. Post match, the AAA Latin American champion El Herald de Dr. Wagner Jr. He popped up to pretty much let Ethan Page know, hey, homie, I'm watching you. You got something that I'm very, very interested in. Talk to you real soon. So you obviously know what time it is for that one. Meanwhile, Kelly Kincaid catching up with Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne says he is glad that Lexis King made him tap into a different world, a different version of himself. Talks about how NXT is his family and he's ready to go to war with TNA. He doesn't care who comes after NXT because they'll be ready to defend their house. We also got some video camera shout outs, whatever you want to call it, little cameos by Mike Santana and Moose, letting it be known they're going to be popping up on NXT this Tuesday. Basically continuing fresh off what had went down from this past Tuesday's NXT with the TNA invasion and all. Frankie Kazarian even took to social media to announce that he was going to be stopping by NXT as well. Women's championship match, Lola Vice taking on the champion Jacy Jayne. Oh, Jacy's crying. Ow, ow. I know that's not the name of the song. 18 minutes, 35 seconds. Jacy Jayne retaining her NXT Women's Championship. Lola Vice, her family, parents, all that, whole 9 yards. They're in the house. You know, normally you look at stuff like that, you go, well, looks like we're definitely going to be getting a new champion, huh? Definitely going to be getting a new champion. Not so fast. Not so fast. It ain't happening here. I thought for sure Lola Vice, I felt this was her time. I legit felt finally this is her time. But Jacy Jayne coming out again. Hooker by crook. I mean, look, it makes sense to a degree, it makes sense for Jacy to keep the title. But at the same time, I'm going, where does Lola Vice go from here? Because if not now, right? And it almost seems like it's been a recurring theme in regards to Lola Vice. Like, and I've been very vocal about Lola Vice here on the show. I've held no punches when it's come to Lola Vice. When I have said to you guys, man, we have seen this woman continue to take backseats to other women. I mean, Julia, Stephanie Vakir. I mean, you name it. The list just goes on and on and on. And you're going, when is it going to be Lola Vice's time? Right down to the point. I remember even some of you guys during our live streams, you would ask me, Lee, what the hell, man? What's going on with Lola Vice? Like, you ever see this woman becoming the NXT Women's Champion? Like, what the hell? And I'm surprised you guys haven't held me to this yet. But I said earlier this year in 2025 that before the year is out, Lola Vice will become the NXT Women's Champion. So if you're keeping track at home, that means essentially I got less than 3 months left But remember what I said months back? I said if she has not become the NXT Women's Champion by the end of 2025, we need to have a serious conversation and go like, what the hell is going on here and everything. But she definitely needs a serious comeback from this. And honestly, I think one of the ways that you do that is, you know what would be interesting? You know what would be interesting? If the way that Ava and Santino Morella are going to set up their respective teams, if it's a case where whoever is the team, the winning team, they basically will qualify for a championship. I'm not going to say for a championship of their choosing, but maybe it could fall somewhere along the lines of, okay, look, here's our team that's going to be taking on Team TNA. You know, in the case of the women's, okay, Lola, you know, you want to be team captain, well, you got to earn that right. You know, go qualify to be part of the women's team NXT versus TNA. And it's kind of like, okay, you know, the captains, like whoever the captains are. Okay, you're the captain. Guess what? You get the highest honor. You get to go after the women's championship at the next premium live event or something along those lines. And then for the rest of the team members, you know, maybe they can get whatever other potential shots at championships. Maybe that's how you do the workaround or whatnot. But somehow you got to have Lola Vice bounce back from this and bounce back from it in a big, big way. Now, do y'all remember what I had said earlier about what was Homegirl's name? Oh my God, I had her name earlier. I told you she was being interviewed by Kelly Kincaid. And if you bear with me a second here, I'll be able to tell you. Lainey Reid. Give me a couple of more weeks. The name will really start, and I won't be blanking out like that. I know she's been getting a lot of praise from WWE. She's got a great look. I'll give her that. She definitely has a great look to her. Lainey Reid. Remember what I said earlier about Lainey Reid crossing paths there with Lola Vice and all that? Well, final moments of this matchup, while the referee was distracted. Now, Fallon Henley, she was there at ringside. She was doing her little stuff with the shenanigans. Eventually, referee pretty much ejected her after it seemed as though Lola Vice was about to become the NXT Women's Champion when the referee got yanked out of the ring by his ankles. Referee's like, what the hell? We see Fallon Henley pretty much use that one and only lifeline to help out Jacy Jayne, to which referee, you're out of here. So she's ejected. Later on, though, is where things get really, really interesting because as Vice connects with a spinning back fist, falls out to the floor, a masked individual with a hoodie came out to knee Vice down to the floor. You're going, oh man, not like this. It's going to end on a count out. Like, what the hell? Vice manages to somehow get back in the ring before the 10 count. The rolling encore by Jacy Jayne to lay out Lola Vice. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Retain the championship that way. So now the question becomes, who was the max individual? Is it possible that it was none other than Lainey Reid? It makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. And if it wasn't Lainey Reid, then who else could it have been? Makes you wonder. But yeah, you know, a little heartbroken. A little heartbroken that Lola Vice didn't get it right here at this time. And I gotta say to you guys too, this was one of Jacy Jayne's best singles matches in defending the championship in recent months. I gotta say, I know she's had the championship for a few months now, and she has just been stringing it together. I mean, she's really getting better as a champion. I definitely got to give her respective props. By the way, guys, grown ass men, let me holler at you all for a minute. I'm not going to mention this person's name, but you want to talk about some really, really messed up comments, right? So, look, I've always been the type of person, I love rooting the bad guys. Anybody that's been checking out the show for a long time, I love rooting on the bad guys, especially when they're stringing everything together right. Jacy Jayne, no exception to that rule and everything. But I gotta say, some of you people on social media, good God Almighty. So again, I'm not going to mention this person's handle, but there was this individual. I'm actually going to read to you now some of in their own words, so it's not taken out of context. This individual was just hopping all around and was just spamming the hell out of his dislike, his disdain for Jacy Jayne. It definitely goes to another level. So, for instance, please do not let Jacy Jayne or whatever her name is attempt to shake her pancakes on my television again. Straight get off my TV heat. Well, brother, that's the whole point. And then later on, WWE, they put out a post saying fatal influence in the numbers game is starting to pay dividends. This person again, that Jacy Jayne has zero cake. And whoever backstage told her to go ahead and shake them pancakes on my TV should be suspended without pay forever. Now, some of you guys may be going, okay, this kind of comes off a little bit, lighthearted so far, right? NXT, she did it again. Jacy Jayne leaves NXT, still the NXT Women's Champion. By the way, yes, there was a blackout. There was a nipple slip. I mean, the amount of you people that should nipple slip. It's like wardrobe malfunctions. It happens. I mean, Jesus, happens. But here's this individual. Also shook her rear thigh flaps, which was pretty gross. It's like, are you guys like, it's like, dude, we get it. No, like, he's still not done. Who in Gorilla told her to shake her pancakes, though? That was gross and immediately shut the show off. Now, when I saw WWE put up the graphic of her, retaining, I put up a little GIF emoji with her holding a little championship and she's just, dancing or whatever. And I had little happy emoji faces. That was it. That's all I did. I get, bruh, stop fronting like you think this girl is anything close to attractive. Laughing my ass off. She got that get this thing off my TV heat for sure. And then he goes on to say to another person, and I guess he really is trying to tag Jacy Jayne or something, but he goes, zero cake, get off my TV heat. And I'm guessing she's still wearing a title strictly from her ring work, because that girl ain't it in the face, bruh. Hashtag fight me. Wait. Please, for the love of God, tell Jacy Jayne or whatever her name is to never attempt to shake her upper thigh flaps ever again. That girl has get this thing off my TV heat. Thanks in advance. Wait. Here's another one. Sorry, at WWE NXT, Jacy Jayne or whatever is the most unattractive, dull, boring women's champion in your company's history. I'm sure she has a great personality and is a great person, but she got get her off my TV heat. Good God Almighty. Some of you guys are mental. I'm looking at this guy's profile and everything, and he's, posting pictures, of his, looks like his son, I think is, and I think he mentioned that his son is 10, 11, or 12 years old. And I'm just thinking to myself, dude, how would you like it if somebody called your kid ugly? Or better yet, how would you like it if it's your significant other? Because I don't know what his cup of tea is. I mean, obviously he has a son, but, his preference might have changed. Who knows? But what if his partner, he posts a picture of his partner? How would he like it if people were saying, yo, that's You're with that? Oh my God, that's ugly looking as. Don't ever post any pictures of that person again. Ooh, like it's like you want to set an example for your kids and everything. And it's like, okay, I get it. The first two posts, ah, what she shaking? She ain't really got nothing. Oh, okay. But then to do it to the point where you hear what you just heard me read, right? It becomes, dude, are you okay? Because it kind of seems like, you keep saying go away heat, but it kind of seems like there's something on a much deeper level going on here. Like, are you all right? Like, seriously, guys, it's not that serious. It is not that serious. If that wrestler is getting under your skin like that, guess what? They're doing their fucking job. And if it gets to the point where you just honestly, you are legit, you don't like their appearance. It's so funny. A lot of people talk a really good game about, oh, I would never. Oh, that person is ugly. But let me tell you something. Let that individual that you're bashing slide into your DMs. All of a sudden you're gonna be on cloud nine and you're gonna be, oh my God, they're responding to me. Oh my God, they're acknowledging me. I'm like, it's the best day of my life. Seriously. Anyway, Mustafa Ali apparently is going to be stopping by NXT as well. Nothing much more to cover as far as the Ricky Saints Oba Femi, because we pretty much had opened up talking about that matchup and everything. So let me give you guys a rundown on what all is going to be coming up for NXT on the CW this Tuesday. So we got Lash Legend taking on Jada Parker. We've been seeing how all of that has been developing past couple of weeks. So they're going to be colliding. Then let's not also forget, we're going to be hearing from the new NXT heavyweight champion there in Ricky Starks. Which again, for those of you that maybe are just now tuning in, you're going, wait a minute, you didn't talk about Oba Femi and Ricky Starks. We opened up the show talking about that. Ava and Santino, they will be choosing their respective teams for Invasion. Remember, there's going to be a men's Survivor Series joint where Team TNA versus NXT. And then there's going to be a women's Survivor Series match, Team TNA versus NXT as well. So now that we got all that in the books, I gotta say, looking back on this event as a whole, I'm also thinking about like favorite match, least favorite match. Look, Javon Evans and Josh Briggs, that was a damn good opener. I will definitely give it to them. That was a damn good opener. I will also say, and that's despite some of the stuff that I highlighted earlier too, for that matter. Main event match, Ricky Starks, Oba Femi, that actually was pretty damn good as well. I'll definitely give it up there. Everything else you could kind of say was just average in between. It was kind of average in between. I think the speed match in retrospect just not needed. Could have done without it. The cage match, that really, when you're doing a cage match, that is supposed to be like your holy grail. That's supposed to be your main bread and butter. Like when you got that sandwiched in between, you're going, okay, sparks are definitely going to be flying, and decent show, but I definitely wouldn't say, yo, you needed to go out of your way and watch this. Let's see. Scale of 1 to 10. 7. 7 out of 10. So I'm definitely looking at a modest C. I'm not going to go higher. I'm not going to go lower. Right down to the point. Let's see what you guys had to say about NXT No Mercy. I'm going right to the poll that we got up on Twitter right now, seeing how you guys have voted. See, got it loading up. uh, oh my God, it's still early. So right now your options are A, B, C, and then Ricky Saints, yo. Right now, 100% of the votes coming in. Still early. Still early. It's still early. Right now, Ricky Saints is taking the lead. I really don't think anybody had saw that coming. Ricky Saints, good for him though. I mean, seriously, good for Ricky Saints. 35 years of age, still a relatively young man. Definitely look, if we could see Damian Priest, AJ Styles, and a whole bunch of other people that's winning world heavyweight championships and all that, there's no reason why a guy like Ricky Starks, I definitely still feel in my heart of hearts, he's got a bright career as a main eventer on the main shows. Definitely a lot sooner rather than later. And let me just say this as well. I know WWE Raw is going to be coming to us from North Carolina this Monday. I really, really hope WWE does something cool where since they're going to be in North Carolina, Ricky Saints is from North Carolina, Javon Evans is from North Carolina as well. I hope they show those two guys some love and we can somehow see them be incorporated on Raw. That would be pretty badass. Don't forget, by the way, Raw is going to be coming on at a special start time of 7 p.m. Eastern here in the United States. And of course, I love when that happens because you know what that means. Yeah. Not only are we going to be live after Raw goes off the air, but that means I get to go to bed at a decent time. Yes, I love that. Seriously, I love that. Keep it coming. I wish it could be permanent that we get Raw 7 p.m. Eastern. That just does wonders for me. That means, okay, so basically by you know, get done with the post show pretty much like 10:30, maybe almost 11. I get to watch the news and go to sleep. Oh, fuck yeah, that's heaven. Hey, before we get ready to dip out, if you guys are not aware, for you music fans out there, Nine Inch Nails, the new Tron Ares album, it dropped. If you're a little bit on the fence on whether or not you should check that out, that's now available on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/, the RCWR Show. Click on the album reviews playlist and you can check it out that way. Also, was it earlier today? I'm trying to think if it was early. Yes, it was earlier today. Earlier today, I premiered the Robert Plant Saving Grace featuring Susie Diane album as that had dropped officially on Friday. So yeah, fun new music weekend. Check that out for you Robert Plant fans, especially if you've been a little bit on the fence with some of his last outings. You'll hopefully find those to be helpful. And before we get ready to dip, I definitely want to take this time out, let you guys know that this edition of the RCWR show is brought to you in part by some very good friends. And I want you to represent, make sure that you show them some love because without them, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. And that's the God's honest truth. First up, I want to give with them. And on that note, that is going to do it, my pretty babies. If you enjoyed this episode, please do me a huge solid. Make sure you give this a thumbs up. Definitely head on over to the YouTube channel. Hit the like on it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Been rolling. I'm trying to do my best with the uploads. I really, really have. It's just, you got to bear with me because my first priority is definitely my coursework. I got to make sure all of that is squared away. But if you ask me how I'm doing, am I finally starting to kind of find my groove a little bit? A little bit, but I got to be very smart how I got to make sure I don't burn out. That's it. Especially when it comes to the shows. I got to make sure I don't burn out, right? So I'm finding my groove though. I just uploaded Monday's show earlier today, so I apologize to those of you that like listening to the show on demand and downloads. You guys know normally I get you guys like Tuesday night. I really was not behind, but I'm deep in coursework right now. I got like a couple of proposals I'm trying to come up with and some papers and slide presentations. So I'm trying to get a little better at making sure I don't get too far behind in uploading the shows for you guys. Matter of fact, soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to upload this show ASAP. So for our audio listeners, they'll be able to consume it and all that. But yeah, that's going to do it. I will catch you guys for Monday night, September 29th, 2025. We'll do the Raw Post show. Meantime, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR Show. And until next go round, my pretty babies, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll see you all next go round. Take care.